This is Dad Mentality. I am Rodney Glover. I'm your host. So we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves. So that's all. You'll definitely learn more about us as this podcast goes on. I'm grateful that I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what we're getting ready to get into and what we're going to start. The thing is, I've been blessed with a lot of friends that all are great men and dads. But I found that we don't talk to each other enough.
There is a difference between being a good man and being good at being a man.
Cleo and me was about all these motorcycles, all these cars, everything I can think of,
I wouldn't change a thing. Like some things you look at me like, wow, but honestly, man, I wouldn't change it. We experience and those things, ultimately make us who we are. That's what I believe. Like,
Hello. It's your boy, the Beast One. Welcome to another week of Dad Mentality Podcast. Thank y'all for joining us again. This week we got a real good topic, but I don't do this by myself, so I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my co-host. This my man who's joined us this season. He's now I hope going to be a co-host from now on, because he's definitely joined us and been very much a great part of this show. I appreciate him as a brother and a friend. It's my man, Matty Ice Cold. Oh, we had to take the Ice Cold Crypto. Matty Ice. Just Matty Ice.
Yeah, Matty Ice. That's cool.
Because the diversified hustler, I still give you that, because I'm still looking at my Bitcoin and it ain't
one year not up yet, and you probably still up though. But it has retraced, but we're gonna talk about that later at the end of the year.
I ain't gonna hold you too much accountable, but I am gonna bring it up probably every week as long as it's down.
It's all good.
But anyway, but also he's been with me since day one, in the playground. We was out there, chasing girls and chasing footballs at the same time as my man, Coach Vance Robs. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Awesome, brother.
Hey. So this week we're going to talk about the myth of a deadbeat dad, and I'm gonna go into the background of how I came up with this topic. But I knew one person that I wanted to grab in here. He's been my boy for 20-something years plus. When I met him, he was taking care of his son, and he was in a hard situation, but he always took care of his family. And then he got in 3 more hard situations before he found the love of his life, Mila. And and she is the beautiful queen that when I met her, I told him he better not fuck it up for both of us. So that is my man, Rob Pitts. How you doing, Rob?
Pretty good, man. Good to be here on the show, man.
Yes. Hey, that's my good brother too, man. From I don't even know. I don't know Rob probably for 30 years, man. Like shit. Yeah, since 7th grade. You know what I mean?
Only if he learned. He's the only person I know who pull-out game is weaker than mine. So I'm gonna go ahead, but he's my boy. I knew he'd be great to bring in on this topic. But first we're gonna do, our mental health check-ins is always important. Your mental health is important. You should talk to somebody, a therapist, a pastor, a friend, about what's going on in your life, so we always do our mental health check-in from 0 to 10. I'm gonna go ahead and let Vance start with his mental health check-in. Vance, go ahead.
Yeah, man. The last week has been pretty chill week. Nothing major's been going on, with work and everything. The work did ramp up for a little bit, but it kind of settled back down towards the end of the week. So the weekend was pretty good. Checked out a couple high school football games. Helped out a couple friends that coach high school football. with their scheme and so forth. And that was really over the last week, you know what I'm saying, what it was. So son got a job, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He had been working to get a job. He's 17, so
that's good, man.
you know what I mean? Finally found something.
Congratulations.
I'm one of those parents that, you know what I mean, like, I ain't filling out the application for you. I ain't looking for you. I'll help you when you need help, right? But I ain't doing the work for you. So if you want a job, go find a job, right? You know what I mean? So he had been trying that for the last couple of weeks. So he just got to get his license because the job about 15, 20 minutes away. So that's a blow. But
yeah, I remember them drop off days.
Yeah, man. And it's one of them like specialty ice cream shops too. So like they stay open till midnight during the
weekend. Man. You got your son working for my competition, man. And shit.
Yeah, but it's downtown Dallas, bro. So they ain't
for real? Oh, dang, what's the name of the joint? I probably business right there by the water.
I think it is.
Oh, damn, he all the way out of now. I know they ain't really competition. I know exactly what ice cream shop you talking about. They right there off right by the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. I know that joint.
Yeah, so I mean, today was his first day orientation, so he's psyched about that. You know what I mean?
That's
so that's what made the week good. So,
that's a ride right there.
For you, I mean, I live in Bowie, so I'm 10 minutes away.
Okay, I used to live in Bowie. I ain't too far, but yes, that's still all right. You right up.
Yeah, so I'm about an 8 right now. So I got a bunch of things coming up in the next week that's going to test me though. So I know it's going to test me. So yeah.
All right, Matt, you want to go ahead and go next?
Yeah, I go next. I'm about the same as last week, man. Ain't too much change, about 7.5, 8. Just trying to continue to build, man, and feel better, get back on my grind with a couple of things, man. Had an overall good weekend, man. We had a couple events this weekend. Just gearing up for the fall season, man, trying to figure out some things, some new recipes with the ice cream to bring in, and some new products. We got some new products coming into the store, some sweatsuits, man. We got our own custom shoes that's coming in too, that's going to be dropping coming into the store. So just getting ready for that, man. So but family doing well, you know what I mean? Daughter doing good in school, you know what I mean? So she about to start her intern again back at elementary school that she was at last year, you know. So she full-time at Bowie this year. This is her second year at Bowie. So
what's your daughter do?
She's in she's going for to be a teacher. She's trying to be a teacher. I can't remember the name of her major, but it's
hey, holla at me, man.
All right. Yeah.
Like holla at me, because you know what I'm saying? Just holla at me. I got something for.
All right, bet. I definitely gonna reach out to you, man. I'll reach out to you tomorrow. Let me know. Cause she's doing her thing.
But to deal with my wife, you matter. But
hey, now my
she looking for tutors right now. So,
my daughter on top of it. So
there we go.
Yeah. She up to the task. All right. But that's a bet. But like I said, I'm about a 7.5, 8, man. I'm feeling good, man. Life is good for the most part. It can definitely be better.
Boosted you to like a 9, bruh. Like, what you talking about? Like, offer your kid opportunities, dog.
Hey, I'm happy for her, but we talking about me. About my mental health, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there you go. All right, Rob, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go next.
Oh man, I'm probably about an 8, man. I had a good weekend. My wife met someone down here. She's doing a lot of networking for her business, her side business, as far as event planning, and it's really starting to, I'm starting to see the hard work that she's putting in. So we went to this birthday party this Saturday. Was like the lady had turned 40. It was like a futuristic type thing that they was doing, where people dressing up, costumes and stuff. So that was pretty cool. We did that, and just chilled in the house. The kids are doing good. She's doing good. So yeah, man, we good, man. I can't really complain about anything.
Did I miss what your score was?
Say a number. What's your number?
Oh, I thought I said it was an 8.
Oh yeah.
I thought you might have said it, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
All right, but it's all
8
good.
is a
All
great
right,
number.
Yeah.
So fellas, I don't know if y'all know.
We got somebody. We got somebody
my boy
tuning in.
joining. I know who's coming in. Yo,
what's good?
This my man just came in. My man Daryl.
What's
In the
good?
house. Hey, we
New
just came in
York.
perfect time.
He down in Florida though,
Yeah.
but New York. So what's good, brother?
Oh man, is that the nigga that had the South and messed the whole South list?
Oh yeah, I was about to say, I better not ever say nothing about the South again to this dude.
I told Ronnie I could have did the East and the South. That nigga had the nerve to put face last. I said, what? This nigga's crazy.
That was like I was saving the best for last, bro. Like that's
man, you didn't say that day.
Hold on, fellas. Hey, that was a different show. That was the 50 years.
Oh, my bad.
Reset. So we doing our mental health check-ins. It's your turn. Tell us where you are from a scale to 0 to 10. Of course, I got to explain to Rob that 10 is the best. So,
everything.
Go ahead and tell us how you feel, brother.
Oh man, man, I'm great, man. I'm blessed. God got me, bro. So I'm joyful. I'm good. I'm 10. God got me. You know what I mean? So that's just how it is. I don't let nothing bother me. I'm at a 10. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All
bro.
right. You don't want to tell us how your week went or anything? You good?
My week went great. As I told you yesterday, man, Lord blessed me with a brand new apartment out here. So I'm moving there 2 weeks. I thought I was, at first I was like, because I know my credit kind of like effed up or whatever. So, but I felt so great about it. So I still just did it anyway. And God blessed me with it, man. So it's been a great week. Work has been consistent. Yeah. Like I have no complaints. I get up every morning. I just be chilling.
You're down in Florida, right?
Yeah. I'm in Old Town, Orlando.
Yeah, that's where I want to move to, man. I done looked at some properties down there. That's my goal.
Well, in Florida?
Yeah. I was looking at some properties in Winter Haven, Celebration.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's further west. Yeah, I mean, but it's still next to. It's still right here though, but just do your research on a lot of stuff out here though. Like, I mean, you definitely gotta learn your Spanish out here though. Definitely gotta get your Spanish up. Your Espanol better be on point because they out here. That's a fact.
I don't know.
All right, fellas. Well, let me move on. Let me go ahead and get my score in. So I wanted to go last because I definitely wanted to inform everybody. Tomorrow's my birthday. I turn 45 tomorrow. So, I should be more excited. I plan on doing something at the end of the month with some of my boys going out to the Outer Banks and hanging out. And I'm excited about that. But I was kind of, this week I was kind of depressed because I didn't really want to do too much. I had some family issues going on, and just working on that just really put me at a real low state. Trying to get that situation solved. Or not solved, but helped. I can't solve it, so I can only do what I can do. You know what I'm saying? So that's been really heavy on my shoulders, and I kind of got a little depressed because I was like, I feel like I do a lot for so many people, but I don't, and I'm not saying nothing about, I know if I call Vance or if I call you, Matt, or Rob or Girl, whoever, if I call y'all and tell y'all I need something or whatever is mine, I get that. But it's just like, I kind of feel like, for all the things I do for a lot of people, and I've been praying on it because maybe it's just me, that, I feel like I don't get the same response back from the people I'm helping.
Because you're looking for it. You got to stop looking for it.
I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking for it. I get that. I'm not looking for it. But it's just like,
you want to reciprocate it.
Maybe I'm going, nah, it's not even I want to reciprocate it because it's not that. I don't know. Maybe it's just just the funk I'm in right now. I haven't figured it out yet, but I knew I'd come on here and talk to y'all and express it to you, and just
I know what you mean.
That's number one about it. It's just, I don't know. That's just kind of where I am. So I'm gonna label myself a 7, and I just feel like I'm trying to judge whether to continue friendship or continue things that I feel like, I don't know, because I know people are there for a season. So some people are there for a season. Not everybody's meant to be in your life forever. So is it a point in my life right now where these people do I need to go ahead and just X them out, or should I continue to keep on reaching out to them and being there for them, even though they're not, even if I called these guys or these people and told them I wanted them there for me, they didn't show up.
I wouldn't say X them out, because I agree that people are there for seasons, but again, seasons come back around. You know what I mean? So you can't exit out. It's more so they may have been there for that season, then that season where they may be back in your life comes back around. Because I got friends, family, like people who I call my brothers, who I may not talk to for months, a year, but it's not because of anything like that. It's just at that moment, we just not on the same path, the same goal. But then when we are and we talk and communicate, they're there for me to help me when I'm at that place in my life, when I am in that season. Because sometimes we fall back into the same season. So I wouldn't say X them out, because that just sounds, you know what I mean, a little too, you know what I mean. I would just say, yeah, the season done passed. So when it's winter, you put your winter, you know what I mean, you put your summer clothes up. But then when the summer, you know what I mean, then as the season change, you switch to a different wardrobe. But then the winter gonna come again. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna pull your winter clothes back out. So you might come back to that season again where those people who are again relevant in your life, especially, you know what I mean, if they didn't do anything, you know what I mean, that's detrimental to harm you. It just they may be going through something where they
here's the thing. Here's the thing for me, and I understand what you're saying. Now, it's one thing when I reach out to you and you're there, but I've reached out to this person a few times, or these people a few times, and every time they seem to let me down. You know what I'm saying? They seem to not be there for me. But when they need me, I'm there for them.
Yeah, you gotta let it be.
I mean, the thing about it, Rodney, is like when you get to that level of like, you need to take a look at yourself and really understand why you're reaching out or why you're drawing to that person, right? And the first place you start is yourself. So what you need to do is you need to have that conversation with God, because maybe your reaching out needs to stop, and it just needs to be a prayer for that person, and then you move on, exactly, right? Yeah. So you gotta there's times. And
I'm not saying I'll cut them off if they still call me and they need me, whatever. You know, I'm not going to say I'm going to cut them off like that. But I'm saying
that's what you said.
I'm not going to keep on. I'm not going to keep on reaching out to them.
You're not even hearing me.
All right,
you got to stay still.
All right.
Right, like that's where the problem. Like the problem is you're trying. Stay still, say your prayer, and continue to deal with whatever your immediate family needs and what Rodney needs. And then you won't even have those concerns.
Rodney, I'm going to tell you like this. People going to show your true colors when you're not around them.
Correct.
Like he said, you just got to stay still, and everything will open your eyes. You'll get clarity on everything. That's it. You're going to get clarity on everything. Because before, God found me, I used to be like, if you ain't helping me, nigga, you hurt me. Get out of here. Like, you understand what I'm saying? If you ain't helping, then you hurt. So I don't really need you. So you just got to sit back, like Van said, just chill, and everything gonna fall into place. If they're not supposed to be there, they won't be there.
They won't. They will eliminate themselves, bro.
Yeah, exactly. People gonna be on their best behavior when they around you. But when you sitting back, falling back, then you're gonna see their true colors. Just listen. Don't reach out for like a month and see if they reach out to you just to see how you doing. Yeah. And you know from right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I agree. I just say, man, you can't take them things personal sometimes, because I know sometimes I've been going through seasons in my life where I just need to fall back for myself, and then I just need to handle what's going on in my immediate. You know what I mean? And I may not be the best friend at those times. Not, you know what I mean? Because I may not because I can't take on no more load. I can't take on no more burden. So I hope people never take that personal, but that's all I'm saying. Like, you just fall back sometime and don't take that it personal sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be like, hey, you know what I mean? Bet. Hey, I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we do what we do for others because that's what we choose to do. So if it's not reciprocated, you can't get upset, you know what I mean? Because I looked out for them because that's what I chose to do. That's what I was feeling at that moment in my life. So yeah, so when it comes back around, if I reach out to that person and they are not capable of at that time because either they're not even in a mental state or they're not, you know what I mean? You can't, like, you know, they can't do it. Like, even if it's something as like money, you loan somebody money, and then when it come back around, you might be looking for them, be like, hey, but they might not got it. So you can't take it personally because, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
Just never take money personally. Nah, it's all good, man. I got you. I hear you. I'll let it go. I'm good. Yeah. But you're really saying what I was saying. So, you know, it's all right. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go.
Yeah, nothing more.
16, you really say what I'm saying.
But anyway, hey, yeah, let's go. We're going to go in. We're going to go into the topic of this week, which is which I call the myth of the deadbeat dad. Because so to explain it, I was on another podcast. Shout out to Reese in the Mac Morning Show. I was on her podcast and she brought up a subject that when she brought it up, I was like, yeah, I don't even know this person that you're talking about. The dudes that I know are the exact opposite of everything you're talking about. So she said she was at a show. She was at her comedy show and she met a young man or not a young man, but an older man. She clearly told me he was in his late 40s, 50s. And he said, well, I just met my 20-year-old son for the first time today. And well, not this month or whatever, sometime that week, whatever case may be. And he said, I am not going to reach back out to him anymore. If he wants to talk to me, he can talk to me. He's already 20. There's nothing I can do. And she wanted to know, as men, how do we feel when it comes to your child being older, or you never saw that child, or would you consider him a deadbeat because he's not going to do anything, even though he's now found out he had a child? Now, of course, there's a lot of things. A lot of people ask more questions to get into more details, and we can go into speculative stuff, but we're just going to go with the information I've given you. And my question to you, and even you can talk to it as yourself as an adult, if you was that kid, would you want your dad still in your life, or would you want a father in your life? And then we'll go into the aspect of what is considered the deadbeat dad. So I definitely got Rob in here because Rob is one of, he has different, I guess, mothers of his children. And he's always fought to be a part of his life. I know that Daryl is not with his son's mother, and he fights to be in his child's life. So I just wanted to see how y'all feel about that in that scenario. How would you take it if you was a dad, you're meeting your child at 20? Would you just totally ignore him, and if he wants to talk to you, then talk to you, or how would you embrace that situation?
Well, number one, I don't fight to be in his life because I'm in there. I'm active. You feel me? I fight for, like, let's be on the same page as far as schoolwork, as far as discipline. Like, that's what I be fighting for. But being in his life, I don't play that. Like, there's no way you can't keep me on my son. Like, I'll go to court. I'll do whatever to be in my son's life. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but if it was a situation like, dude, I mean, you can make up for lost time because you never know, like, what the blessings can come from. You can't just totally be like, oh, no, I ain't gonna reach out no more because he's 20. Like, nah, bro. Like, okay, you ain't seen him for 20 years. All right, you see him now. Build it from there. You got another 20 more. You understand what I'm saying? that could make up for the other lost 20 years you wasn't there. So, I mean, you can't say he really a deadbeat because do he even know he probably had a kid? Like, if he knew he had a kid and just chose not to do anything, yeah, then that's a deadbeat. But if he didn't know, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you got some women out here that just be on some spiteful shit like, oh, if we can't be together, then you can't never see a kid. But you got to take the initiative to go out there and be like, nah, I want to be in my kid's life. Go to court, get visitation right, try to get custody, all that, bro. And some men just don't want to do that because it do cost a couple of dollars to do that. But if you really want to be in your kid's life, you got to do what you got to do. Yep. Money means nothing if you want to be in your child's life. You know what I mean? Because kids need their father. Everybody be talking about their mothers. I give mothers a lot of respect, but kids need their father. When kids have fathers in their life, they grow up differently, bro. They grow up differently. You know what I mean? It's just a fact. It's just a fact.
No, I
so,
got you.
Yeah, man, I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, like kids, like girls need their father.
Yeah,
boys need their father. Like,
daughters.
Yeah, like when they have a father in your life, you grow up differently compared when you just raised by your moms. I'm not saying some dudes that was raised by their moms, yeah, they strong enough, but when you have your father in your life, it's a whole different ball game. You look at life differently, especially if he's really being a father. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Rob,
just like
you meet. Oh, let's let Rob get in real quick. So you get it. You're 20. You meet your child. He's already a 20-year-old. Do you just back off, or are you going to be a part of his life? How do you feel about it?
I definitely agree. I mean, I think you should definitely be a part of your child's life because, again, like you said, you know, you don't know what aspects and dynamics that you can bring from that relationship that you have, even though you didn't have that relationship when they were younger. You can still build upon that relationship, you know, as they get older. You know, I mean, for me personally, you know, I remember not seeing my son. The last time I had saw him was, I think he might have had been, let me see, what year was that? That was 2006. So he was 3. I didn't.
What time you talking about?
Amari. So, so for him, I didn't see him for when he was 3, and then I went through, you know, that whole aspect of, you know, not seeing him and taking her back and forth to court, and then I didn't see him again till he was about 6. So I had to rekindle and build all that back up, you know. But even to this day, you know, he's 22 and he still calls me. We still have that bond, even though I wasn't there all the time with him, but he knew that I fought for him. He knew that I was trying to, you know, be the best that I can be in, you know, given the circumstances that I was in, to be part of his life. So we still have that bond. We still have that connection, you know. So that's why it doesn't really matter, you know, as far as, you know, when, just let the child know and they'll decide for themselves, you know. Like I still sometimes go through the same situation now with my other son's mother. And you know, right now he's 11, you know, but you know, and she is bad mouth me, that motherfucker, blah blah blah, or this other stuff. But he sees for himself, and he has his own discernment. He has his own judgment, and that's what that's why I try to tell, you know, dudes like, look, man, like, fuck what she think, fuck how she feel. Be a part of your child's life, fight for them, do whatever you can to let that child know that you're trying to be there. Because if you don't, they already gonna have their own perspective, and because they don't have nothing else to go off of. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's why it's important. I don't give a fuck if they was 30 years old and you 60. Like, still build that bond, whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, like the judge told my ex-wife, that's his blood. That, like, Amari was my blood. Like, so you can't deny that. It don't matter who you be with, whatever the case may be. Like, that's your child. So, you know, you need to be a part of that.
All right. Coach, how you feel? What do you think about it?
I mean, my thing is this. It's not like parenting stop at the age 20.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So, like, regardless of what a lot of people may be out here thinking, Like, I'm hard on my kids at 18, right? Because I want to teach the responsibility quickly because it turns into guidance, right? You know what I mean? So I want them to make their own decisions. All I'm gonna do is guide you. I'll tell you what I would do, but it's your decision ultimately. But the thing about it is like a lot of people, a lot of fathers and parents need to understand that like the most fruitful years of parenting is that transition into adulthood, because they go through the stages in high school of thinking they know more than you. Then they get humble about what an adult really is about when they start working and going to school and being on their own. And then as they got to pay a bill. But then as they transition out of that party stage, now it's like, oh my goodness, mom and dad actually might know what they're talking about. Let me go listen to them and execute what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So for a guy to say, hey, 20 years, hey, you don't know the circumstances. I mean, that's a tough situation. Like, what if, think about this, for Matt, Rodney, what if some girl from high school, you had gotten pregnant, and all of a sudden right now, pop up a 23-year-old on you, 24-year-old. You know what I mean? So that was actually yours. I mean, that's like a
first thing I do is
shocking moment. You know what I mean? That like no, like I mean, I could explain it to my wife. It was before her, blah blah blah. But you know, but it's still that's a difficult moment to be like, wow, like what do I do?
No, I got
you. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. But I would, if it was me, I would definitely like at some point try to forge the relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah, and go from there.
I just don't know how.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rob. Say what you got to say.
No, I'm just gonna say I just don't know how, if you know that you have a child out here, how you can walk around consciously knowing that you have a child and you've done nothing for that child. You know, like that would personally bother me. You know what I mean? So
I assumed in the story that he didn't know.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, in the story, I assumed he didn't know. But even though when I found out, you know, it'd be hard for me personally. But I said, but the first thing I start thinking is, I'd be like, okay. I'd be like, you know, I'm here, but I damn sure want to be a part of my grandkids' life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I damn sure want to be there. So I want to form a relationship with you so that even, you know, I'm not here to teach you anymore. You're already adult, but I'm here to be the best grandfather I can be. I'm here to be the best, you know, the best now adult parent to adult that I can be. Like, I'm gonna be here every time to try to be the best of what I can do. Because that would be the first thing I think about is like, yo, I'm gonna be in here because I want to see my grandkids. I want to be a part of that life. I want to, you know, even though I may not have been there for you, I damn sure now that I know, am not gonna not be a part of my grandkids' life. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me personally, but that's what I said. But Matt, how you feel about that?
I'm just speaking off of this specific example. It like you said, if he didn't know until you meet a 20-year-old, that's a little bit different. I definitely couldn't call him a deadbeat dad. And you can I wouldn't say what he said, but it does take the 20-year-old wanting to have a relationship with you at that point too. Like he should be open to it, you know what I mean? But at that point of time, if the 20-year-old like, hey, he not with it, like what, you know what I mean? Like the door is open, he may reach out and try to see, like maybe he at a 20-year-old, he could already have grandkids. So, you know, I don't know all the circumstances or the particulars behind it, but that's a different situation right there. Like when someone's already an adult and you just finding out, you know what I mean? Like what he do? He just keep calling him, pulling up at his house. Like, you know what I mean? How do you try to be a part of a 20-year-old's life? You know what I mean? Like, and I would put that on, not put it on it, but did the mom know? Like, why is he just finding out at 20 years old? Like, Why are you even telling me this? When he 20 years
well, you
old?
already know if it's 20 years and you didn't get the, get the notice that the mom knew. I mean, they ain't like
so why she telling me at 20?
She didn't know the kid.
What's the point?
Hey, but I mean, the point for me is,
I understand,
what's your move?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like it's at 20 years old, the circumstances are a little bit different. Like you're not a dad at you know what I mean, the same way you could be a dad like at that he was if he was a teenager or at a different state. You know what I mean? But you reach out, and if there's a relationship to be had, you got to be open towards it. But at 20, a 20-year-old got to be open to it as well. Like maybe he always wanted to know who his dad was. So now that he knows, he's like, oh, you know what I mean? He could be open towards it. So if that's the case, then yeah, you know what I mean? You reach out and you like, I bet. And you can have a relationship, you know what I mean? But at 20, I can't say you can force it down his throat. Like,
we're gonna have a relationship. Pause, Maddie. Whoa. Pause.
Come on, man. You know, we having an adult conversation here, but this ain't is what it is, man. You know what I mean? But I got you though. You know, man. I know you from New York, man. You like, hey, yo, hey. You know what I'm saying?
So I just want to give y'all a quick little history because, you know, talking about deadbeat dad and talking about the myth of the deadbeat dad for me personally, what I came up. So the deadbeat dad term was invented or started being known, and I looked this up in 1986 because of a broadcast that was talking about the plight of the Black family. And you know, in the 80s and the 70s, that dads were not allowed, if a woman was wanted welfare, wanted government assistance, she could not have a male in her house. Yeah. So, and that was during the time where they was locking people up for anything. The incarceration rate for Black males had,
the crack epidemic.
But I kind of feel like, but I also kind of feel like looking at it in that way, it kind of created the deadbeat dad syndrome back then, because as a father or a man, you go in there, you know, you go in there, you're already not allowed to stay in this house because she's on assistance. You're already not supposed to be there, this, that, and the other. So, you know, what you did, you came in there, you did what you do, and you had to leave. And that was installed for years. Like, that's all they did back in those days. They came over there, they gave her the pipe, and they left. Yeah. They didn't have to stay there for whatever. They could go to the next town or go wherever they're going to go because they didn't want them there. They didn't want them there because then their assistance would go away. Then that would go away. And I kind of feel like back in the 80s and the 90s, that's when the term deadbeat dad became really prevalent because the women didn't want them there because their government assistance would go away. And, you know, you even watch the movies in the 80s, they come in there, they couldn't leave shoes, they couldn't leave nothing. They couldn't leave nothing. They had to hide things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The worker compass.
Welfare. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. And I mean, I kind of feel like that is when that term became a real thing. I feel like now, because of that, because we're all kids of that 80s and 90s. And I know I have my personal issues because, you know, my father passed away when I was 11. And one thing I told myself is that I would never be a visiting father to my kids, that I'm going to be prevalent with them every day, all day, as much as possible. There's nothing that can stop me from that because I lost him. But I feel like, you know, even for all of us, you know, I don't know for everybody, because, I mean, I do know Vance had a great father who was definitely prevalent in his life, but I still feel like that changed because of the things that went in the 80s and the 90s as far as fathers, and you're hearing about them and you're learning, and your friends not having them or you didn't have them, that we came up with a different mentality about being in our kids' lives. So I wanted to know and ask each one of y'all, and I'm gonna start with our guest, why was it important to you when you decided that you're going to be a part of your kids' lives? Why? What was that? Do you have a factor? Is there some reason that you can think of that made you that way or really infected you that way? Or was it just your child? I don't know. You tell me. Daryl, you want to go ahead and tell us? Talk to us about that?
Yeah, well, before I answer that, I want to just piggyback off of what you said about the 80s and 90s. So you got to remember that 80s and 90s was a big crack era, bro. So a lot of kids' fathers was getting locked up too. So they try to consider that as, and a lot of kids' fathers got killed. So they try to, especially when they got locked up, they try to say, "Oh, deadbeat." And you arrested him, like, you understand what I'm saying? He was in jail, bro. Like, what do you expect him to do? And then in that time, they was making so much money. A lot of fathers were just running around crazy too. Like, and then, but the female allowed it because he was taking care of all the bills. They was on welfare and wearing Gucci and all that because he giving them bread. Like, here, hold that. I'll be over here in about a week or two. You know what I mean? So it was just crazy back then. And then a lot of fathers was on crack that couldn't mentally take care of their kid because they were smoked out. So that's what really killed them in the 80s and 90s. So you can't really, they be trying to say we was deadbeat back then, but look at the drugs you put in the hood though too. That fried our brain. That niggas couldn't even operate.
On drugs, didn't get arrested for selling drugs.
It's all about systematic oppression. They just found a different way to break up
family, the black family.
Exactly. I would say black families, but understand white families would do the same thing.
It was different levels.
Like, white families, that was just a systematic way of breaking up families, right?
Different levels of why people may have not been in their child's life. You know what I'm saying?
Why you answer the question? Yes.
Yeah. Now you talking to somebody. Yeah, but
I'm talking to my son.
It's different. It's different levels of why somebody may have been quote unquote why they are called a deadbeat, but at the end of the day, I guess they wasn't in the child's life. But like you said, sometimes they may have been because they may have been embarrassed about the circumstances that they were going through. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't provide a certain type of way, because they were addicted to, so they just decided to exit you know what I mean, the scene because of what they was going through, you know what I mean? And then there's some people who, you know what I mean, like purposely did it. Like, I'm not saying that might have not been the most of the fathers, but there are some people who know that they had kids and whatever reason they got ghosts, you know what I mean? They couldn't handle the pressure.
No, there's always
so there was different levels of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? But I do agree that a lot of it did come from some of the circumstances in, you know what I mean, the black community, you know what I mean, with jail, with drugs and different things like that. But everybody wasn't going through that, you know what I mean, whose fathers were not in their lives, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes there were some fathers who were labeled as deadbeat dads, but they were trying to be in their child's life, but the mothers made it difficult to be in their life just because he didn't choose to be with you. So she's like, if you ain't with me, you ain't gonna be with your child either. And they saying,
and I think that fathers are no longer going for that.
You know what I mean?
And that's the difference, right?
Absolutely not. No.
You know what I mean?
That was the narrative. That the picture was painted though, because the truth be told, that's what the child heard. You know what I mean? So now the child hearing what the mother said. So now the child is looking at, oh, my father didn't want me, didn't want to be around. So now they looking at dad, but they don't know the dad side. They don't know I was trying to be. Your mother wouldn't let me. You know what I mean? I was calling. I was trying to come see you, come pick you up, but she said no. You know what I mean? So then when the child asks, oh, your father's this, your father's that, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean, it like
of it too. So there's so many different levels of what caused this stereotype of a deadbeat dad. Not saying that some of it isn't true, but there's so many different levels of this label.
I mean, because you could be the funny thing is you could be married with your kids and still be a deadbeat dad.
Absolutely.
Facts. That's a Snapple fact.
You can do everything right and it don't work out and you label the deadbeat. I mean, that was my narrative. You know, me personally was that, oh well, you know, your father left us, so you know this is what it is. But you're not telling the whole side of the story of what really happened. You know, it's just, oh yeah, well, mom said that you left us. I'm like, what? That ain't what happened. You know, so you know that. It's
Damn,
like, man,
that's
you
now
got to sit in.
let's go back to the question though. I just want to,
Oh, my bad.
everybody tell their joint. No, it's all good conversation. But what was the reason that it was important? What was the thing that made it important to you to be in your child's life? Why did you decide that a deadbeat is not what I'm going to be?
I mean,
can I? I was say, I would go first because my joint was like, just because my situation was probably a little different. It may be as kind of similar to you, Rodney. Like, I've never had that situation, but just because I've always lived under the same roof with my kids. Like, I got 2 kids, me and my wife. I've never known anything but being with my kids. You know what I mean? From the time my son was about 1 year old, me and my wife and my son lived under the same roof. And now, 20 plus years later, my son is 24, my daughter's 21. We still live under the same roof. You know what I mean? So I've always wanted to be a part of my kids' life. Like, I didn't know anything but that, you know what I mean? So I can't really speak on it, you know what I mean? But that was always something that was important to me, like to be, a father figure that my kids can look up to.
I mean, for me, it's just like I already knew I was going to be active because I always wanted a bunch of kids any damn way. Like, I always wanted a big ass family because it ain't no big families no more, bro. Like, you don't see 5, 6, 7 kids. I understand it could be money situations. I mean, it could be money situations on that, but I always wanted a big family. That's just me because I'm my only child. So at the end of the day, but besides my brothers Rodney and all them, but at the end of the day, I just knew I was going to be active. It was nothing that wasn't going to stop me. And then you got to understand, my son's mother, she's Jamaican. Ooh. So, and in the beginning, like they really, I'm thinking that, but it's like they tried to stereotype me and my pops because we lived in the projects. They live in Queens, they in a house, and you know what I mean, like that. So they thought we really didn't know until the baby shower came through, and then my mom stepped through. Whole different ball game, shut everything down. You know how Rita give it up, Rodney. So, but it was like I think they thought they was gonna keep my son from me, but it wasn't going down like that. Like I'm gonna be active, even though my father lived in New York his whole life, and I lived in the DMV. He still was there because I still went to go see him every summer. He still made sure I was good. You understand what I'm saying? So it was like, yeah, like I was gonna be there regardless because I love kids. And I always wanted a lot of them, but it didn't work out like that because God probably was like, nah, nigga, you're going to have about 6, 7 baby moms. Nah, we ain't going to do that.
I don't want that
life.
So I just knew I was going to be
active. I love kids. I think life work out how it's supposed to. Like, my wife used to say she wanted a lot of kids, but we got out too. Then once they got of age, we was like, hey, you about to shut this down.
But we started all over. So
I
got adults and I got second grade.
You and Rodney, I say, hey.
Look at Rodney's face.
Hey, I'm telling you, I got 1 plan and 2 mistakes. I'm gonna say that all loud. I don't care.
Go ahead. You got 2 blessings, man. You know what I mean?
I think you got 3 blessings. Hey, dog, but ain't nothing like pulling up to the elementary school looking like a grandfather, bro, to all the other parents, yo. You know what I'm saying? I pull up. Yeah, all the other parents, you know what I'm saying, 20 years old, I'm 45, walking up that joint with a second grader. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, more power to you, bro.
Be like that sometime, bro. You know what I mean?
All right, but what was the, so Van, what was there a moment where you knew that you was always going to be in your child's life?
Growing up, I saw the importance of the balance of 2 parents. So it was never going to be an option, whether it was a baby mama or, my mom even, she set it up. She pretty much was like, don't get nobody pregnant until you married. Yeah, that's cool. But if you do, here's what you do. Go to the courthouse. Go do this. Go do that. You know what I mean? And so it's always been, the motivating factor were my parents, right? Because seeing the balance of what my mom brought to my life and what my father brought to my life, you know what I mean? And they Rodney can attest, they were two drastically different people. You know what I mean? So, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons from both of them. And it was never going to be an option for me not to be in a kid's life. If that first scenario would have came up and somebody was to walk up to me now and say I had a 26, 27-year-old kid, I would be devastated that I wasn't part of that kid's life growing up. You know what I mean? Even if it wasn't my fault not knowing, right? So that the motivating factor is really the balance of what that brings to a child's life. You know what I mean?
Heard, definitely heard. Rob, did you go?
Nah, I haven't gone yet.
Go ahead.
I mean, for me, it was three things. I mean, one, growing up, I come from a single parent household. So, my father was kind of part of that era where, he was a drug dealer part of the 80s. So then my mom got married and she married a guy. And the thing was that he was there, but he wasn't there. To the point that I really thought he should have been. So that was another motivating factor for me, that when I had my sons or daughters or whatever, at the time I didn't know, that I was going to be better than them, because I didn't really have that positive male figure. The only one I really had like that was my uncle, So I would see him with his daughters and his wife, and I was like, okay, that's the way it should be, So that made me, be like, I'm going to be part of my kid's life no matter what. I'm going to fight for him, because I knew how that feeling felt as a kid, not knowing where your father was at, or even if he was there, or, he still wasn't there. So, I didn't want to put that for my kids. So that was the deciding factor for me,
Yeah.
I got you. Did you get in trouble or something? Your wife made you cut out the light in there or something?
Oh no, it's just started. The sun is going down.
Go ahead and hit that clap on joint. Go ahead and tap your hands. Clap on, clap on.
I thought you was in punishment. He out there.
He out Houston. The sun. He had that natural sunlight at first.
Yeah, dog and shit. I was like, damn, what she did? She like, he on that podcast again, man. Cut these lights out.
The thing about, you know what I'm saying, deadbeat dads and missing dads and families or moms, like, it's amazing the kid always yearns for the one that's not there.
Yep. Hey.
I mean, that's true. My oldest is my stepdaughter, and I've had her since she was 6 months. And there was always a driving factor in her that was like, where's my biological dad at? Right? You know what I mean? So much so that when she became a teenager, and Rodney can attest, I made it a personal decision to say, yo, I gotta mend that relationship because she's yearning so much for it.
Yeah. I can attest to that, like, honestly, from my wife. Like when we had the wives on here for the first episode, my wife actually spoke about that, about her biological father not being in her life for years, and she went through it. She knew who he was, but he was going through things, and he didn't come back into her life until she was an adult. But even still, she still wanted to have a relationship with him. And it was to the point when he did come back into her life, it was like, I was like, at first I was a little standoffish, like, this nigga ain't been around, like, yeah, like he like gonna hurt you again, like blah, blah, you know what I mean? But he did come back, and they ultimately did have a relationship again before his passing. But even though all he put her through, she still like wanted a relationship with him, still loved him. Like,
but you probably also saw her heal too, man.
Yeah, I did. You know what I mean? And she, like, up until the day he passed, like, she was there for him. You know what I mean? And he was a cool guy. Like, I was glad I was able to meet him, but like, it definitely is like it's something about fathers though, especially when it comes to daughters, bro. Like that they want to have that relationship with their dads, you know what I mean? And it does something to them. And I would say it could go either way though. And I would say definitely I'm a blessing. I'm blessed that for my wife, it caused her to seek out something different. You know what I mean? So when she with me, she wanted me to be a father figure for her kids, and it allowed her to be super loyal to me because she wanted a family. You know what I'm saying? So it caused her to go completely the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? She didn't seek the guy who was going to hurt her. She was looking for something else. So it's definitely important. You know what I mean? But that's the truth.
Definitely talk to your blessings. I was like, damn, this man mad. Now my wife looking at me. Like, why you know, you ain't my knight in shining armor. That's how she was looking at me. You know, it's all good, man.
You know, yes, but, you are, nigga. Shit, you crazy.
But anyway, so my next question to y'all is that, you know, so and in this conversation, like I told Reese, the host of the show, I was like, yeah, you know, I got a lot of friends, and I mean, this dude that would just not be a part of his children's life. And don't get me wrong, I really do feel like I really do understand that they are that guy. Somewhere out there is that guy that just don't give a fuck. Like he's out, he'll get a chick pregnant and won't do nothing for the children, even if he knows it's theirs and this, that, and the other. But I really don't feel like it's that prevalent anymore. Because a lot of these young guys that I know, they understand that they like, I don't have to be with you. You know what I'm saying? I have rights as a father. I have rights as a you know, as the father when this child is born. And to be visiting and get my visitation, to do what I need to do. I even know a lot of my friends, they tell them, go ahead, put me on child support. I'm okay with that because as long as I get my rights, I'll pay for them. I'm all right with that. So, you know, my next question to y'all is, what do you, nowadays, what would you say, like, if you got to see, especially Rob, you, who your child is now 20-something and you had to do the things you do. If you go back and talk to yourself and give yourself advice about what to do and handle this situation, handle the situations that you're in from older to younger now. And even you, Daryl, you know, even though your son is younger, if you can go back to you when it first happened and these situations first started going, what would you say to yourself?
I mean, for me personally, man, I would just have walked away from the situation. I mean, and I think part of it was the fact that I was pushing so hard for it. And when I say walk away from the situation, I mean walk away from her, but still be part of his life. And what I mean by that is that, you know, because I and again, it goes back to my childhood and my way of thinking, because I didn't want that feeling that I had growing up and not really having a father figure. So I didn't want that for him. So I fought, try to, you know, reason why this, blah, 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 blah. But it was dead shit. It was dead in my face. I just wasn't trying to see it because I was thinking more so of him than of the whole situation. So if I had to go back and do it again, I would definitely tell myself, like, look, man, just be there for your son. Fuck her. Like, fuck what she doing or whoever she with or whatever she want to do, and just be there for your son. But it took a lot of years for me to really kind of grasp that and understand that, to the point that now, you know, I got it. But, you know, it took me a while.
Yeah. So you were saying you basically was trying to hold on to the relationship for him, but and a lot of people do that for years. I know people. Oh yeah, that was those old school relationships. Like they used to sleep in separate rooms. You know what I mean? Because they just didn't want to separate for the child and different things like that.
The day they graduate, the kids graduated.
Yeah, that was those old school.
The next day was the divorce.
And it was, and I want to say one more thing too. And it was hard too, because, you know, at the time, I mean, you know, Matt and Rodney, you know, I've known you guys for over 20, 30 years, bro. So I'm seeing Rodney, I'm seeing you with Vicky and RJ, and y'all, you know, y'all doing your thing. Matt, I'm seeing you with you and Teo and Brashay. And I'm like, damn. And here I am trying to make something that wasn't nothing, but I wanted that because that, you know, I saw the father figures that you guys were in y'all kids' life, and I was like, damn, that's how I need to be with mine. But it wasn't meshing, and I just, at the time, I just didn't see it. But I'm 20, 21, 22, 23, like, and it's just like, damn, you know. So now I look back on it, I'd be like, you know, that's, if I had to redo it again, that's definitely what I would have done. I would have did so many things so differently, you know. And then everybody gets on me about, damn, you got 4 kids by 4 different women, but it was a cause and effect from that, you know, from that first relationship that caused me to be like, okay, this time I'm get it right. Okay, no. Okay, this time it's right. Oh, no. Okay, this time it's right. And now it's right. But it's like, shit, you 4 kids in later. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so it's like,
hey, that's how it be sometimes. But you got blessings.
Hey, Rob,
with all
Rob
your kids,
just needed
bro.
4 strikes. Most people do 3, but Rob needed 4.
But the 4th one, that was the gem right there, because you know, even though I had 3 kids, if I had
bro,
3 kids by 3 different women, she didn't, you know,
I tried to have an intervention. I tried to have an intervention with Rob early on.
That's another thing I wish I would have listened. I wish I
took this nigga hostage in the back of my truck.
I said you and Matt, you, Los, and Day that night that we was over.
Day house. I took house we was over. I took him hostage in the back of my truck. It was like, man, look, don't do it, nigga. Don't do it, nigga. Don't do it. That was the last time I saw that nigga. That was the last time I saw him for.
And I remember leaving and coming back, and I was like, man, I don't. And she was like, what? You talk to them? And then,
Nikki hated me after that shit. She was like, don't ever talk to that nigga again. I tried to tell her that, she was like, I think she erased my number out that nigga phone. Something. And that's what we were just talking about earlier. Then I ain't see him again until I saw him at the Jay-Z concert.
It's just everything. It was crazy. That shit was crazy when I look back on it now, man. But it made me who I am today, though. So
my man. Hey, everything happened for a reason, man. And I'm proud of you, bro. I love to see what you're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? Right now, all of us came a long way. That's, you know what I mean? That's what life about. It's about growth. You know what I mean? And everything that we went through make us who we are today. Like, you wouldn't even be the Rob you are today if you didn't go through it. Because that gave you knowledge, that gave you experience. You had to, you know what I mean? So
to go through. So
that's what's up, bro.
I appreciate y'all being there for me too, man. For real talk, man. Because y'all niggas was definitely there for me during that time.
Always, man. Same here.
Seriously.
It's all good. Daryl, what about you? If you go back to talk to yourself, when your son was first born, and tell yourself what to do, you got any advice for yourself? Anything that you would do different? All right, is Daryl there?
He was. He's somewhere.
He there.
There you go.
Might be. Good?
Now he talking.
You muted.
Now he talking.
He talking to somebody else.
Oh, is he? No, I think he's talking to us. Nah, he got on his headphones. Apparently, he don't have it changed on the Zoom.
Yeah, you muted.
You're not talking. Whatever headphones you got in ain't talking, brother. All right. Well, while he's going, I'm gonna go. What I had to say? Yeah. So the other topic I want to talk. The other thing I want to bring up, or when he comes in, I'll let him say his piece. The other thing I want to say is that. So I just got a curiosity. We all got friends who are fathers and this, that, and the other. And I just want everybody to go around the room because I want to see what the ratio is of what you would consider a deadbeat in your circle. Because I don't believe that deadbeat because like I said, I got friends. I got a boy who just had a baby. His baby turned 3. And when she was pregnant and he knew from the beginning he was not going to be with her. And he was like, yo, it's sure to say, oh, there you go. You back now?
Yeah, so that nigga said he just knew.
He knew. from the beginning, and he went out and made sure he got his rights and got his stuff down and got everything in position. So when the baby came, he already had rights. He already had the stuff ready and set up to make sure that he got his visitation, that child. And I believe that nowadays you have to want to be a deadbeat dad nowadays because the education and the rights are out there. Like you can get what you deserve as long as you go and do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just curious but Daryl, I want you to go ahead and give your thing about if you got to go back and talk to yourself when everything first happened, what would you tell yourself?
I mean, I just think I should have did more fatherly things with my son. I mean, I always had my son, but I was in the game. I was in the street so hard. I was just worried about him being fly all the time and we just popping out. I ain't do like the, basketball, playing catch and all that. I just wanted him to be fly and we popping out. So I think I would have did that a little bit differently, they did a little more fatherly things. But I always had him though, always. Like he was always with me. So I mean that's the only thing I really would, kind of change. And to say what y'all had said too, something like I think I stayed with my son's mother that long as well because I didn't want my son to grow up in that single parent household.
Yeah.
But it was like it wasn't good for me though. Mm-hmm. Now that I look back, I think we should have been like,
yay.
God, we should have
been
that
stopped. Shit, yay.
We should have been stopped. Because see, my thing was always I knew I wasn't going to stay in New York long. Like I knew I was coming back down south, and I used to try to tell her that like I want to raise my son down south. I was to the point I was like, look, we ain't got to live together. You get a crib, I'll pay for it and all that. I just need to be near my kid. But she's such a New Yorker, she ain't trying to leave and all that. So yeah, but I knew I was gonna leave New York, and because I don't want to raise my son up there. This shit ain't nothing but gang up there, bro. Shit is nothing but gang culture. I don't need him to be up there. But to really answer the question now, that's the only thing I would have changed. Just doing more fatherly things, playing catch and little stuff like that. And probably left his mother a long time ago. Not wait till he was damn near 6 years old. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I would have did different.
All right. So going back, so now the question is the now 2023 is the version of the deadbeat dad dead? Because to me it is, and like I said, I mean, I talk to a lot of people, and I'm like, yo, these dudes nowadays know their rights. They are not going to stay with the young lady if they don't want to be with them. She decides to have the baby. They're not forced to stay with them. They know their rights. They know they can get visitation. They know these things. So
yeah, I would say.
How you feel about that, Maddie?
I'm gonna say it's dead, but. Well, I can't even say it's dead. And the reason why I say that is I definitely believe for our generation and maybe where what we see, but there is a different, I'm gonna say demographic or that we may not be living in anymore or around as much. Like I'm not in the hood as much, you know what I mean? But man, that shit's still going on, man.
It's still going on.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I just don't think we around it as much, you know what I mean? But man, these youngins still, you know what I mean, knocking them down and not handling their responsibilities, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely still going on.
It's still, but at the same time, it take two parties though to create a baby. You know what I mean? And some of these females, they create it too. They, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna say like you still gotta try to be in your child's life, but some of these females, like they having, you know what I mean? They out here sleeping with 4, 5, 6 niggas at the same time. So dude might not even really know for real if that's his child. You know what I mean? So that made he like, man, I ain't about to take care of that joint. Like I don't even know, if that's me for real. She's saying that's me, but I know. My man hit her the same night I hit her. Like that type of stuff is still going on out here. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like,
man, I'm real talk.
Situations not going on where a guy is still not, you know what I mean, taking care of responsibilities. Like, so I think the term deadbeat dad may be overused, but there are still situations where people are not still. I just don't think that's
I think
in our circle. You know what I mean? We don't see it. You know what I mean? Because we not in that
part of that.
You're not part of that level anymore. But I definitely think it's still the same. I think it's the younger generation. You think about how much they care about things and responsibilities, right? So I think that we're older, we're more mature, we're more seasoned. I think our generation was the shift in responsibility when it came to men. You know what I mean? It's a lot of independent. It's a lot of women out here too that want kids but don't want husbands.
Oh yeah,
oh man,
right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a lot of men that want kids and don't want wives.
Yeah,
and vice versa. You know what I mean? So, and that's those situations. Like everybody knows. Like anytime you're in those situations in any relationship, you know what I'm saying? Half of them choose to be single. Half of them choose not to be. Half of them don't want to be single. So those situations create hostile environments, right? Because you know what I'm saying? Sometimes a woman wants to be in a relationship, men don't. Vice versa. Sometimes the men want to be in a relationship, women don't. And that can create a deadbeat dad. And I think that, like what Matt was saying, it's still a lot. It's the responsibility of a man. And God doesn't make mistakes when it comes to children and who the parents are, right? Because children, everybody's destined for a certain purpose, right? So there is no mistake with that. But there's a lot of people that have children and don't understand the responsibility that comes with it. And when you don't understand the responsibility that comes with it, you can turn into a deadbeat dad or mom.
Yeah, and the same thing. I like going back to what we initially said when we first started talking about this topic. We talked about addiction and drugs and different things like that. That ain't gone nowhere, man. Some of these youngers out here, man, these dudes, they gone. Like I'm not around it no more, but it's a lot of young dudes who are gone, like, you know, smoking whatever they smoking out here, this synthetic, you know what I mean? I know young dudes, man, who addicted to all types of joints. So the same things are going on, you know what I mean? They locked up. Like it's just the times things change, but shit don't change. So the same things that cause some guys to be deadbeats in our generation is the same thing that's going on. I just think we're not around it because I know some guys who were in that bracket when we were growing up, but now that they're older, we 40 something years old, they done got their shit together. You know what I'm saying? But back then, they were the same people who we talking about. That like they may have wanted to be in their kids' life, but at that time of their life, man, they was going through it. They was in and out of jail. Talking about these some of my good men, some good brothers, like they good brothers now, but they was at that time of their life, man, they was in and out of jail. Like they could not be there. You know what I'm saying? But the same thing is going on right now. So I just think the term deadbeat dad, it has so many different levels because some people they gonna call him a deadbeat dad, but they may truly have good intentions and want to be there, but because of no excuse for, but because of the circumstances that they're going through in that season of their life, they may just can't be. You know what I'm saying? But if they could, they would. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I say. Like it's hard to say. You know what I mean? But I don't think too many people are doing it willingly. Like, man, fuck that little nigga. I ain't about to be in his life. Like, I don't think it's that. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes it's like life get overwhelming and they just kind of exit. You know what I'm saying? Like
they take the easy road out.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not giving that even like because life not easy. So I'm not giving that making that as an excuse. But that's kind of sometimes what may weigh into it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think like y'all said, we're far removed from that. We're also like our circles change.
Yeah.
we ain't around. We wouldn't tolerate being around somebody like that either.
Nah.
Like, think about if you had a friend that wasn't taking care of his child, what kind of conversation is that gonna be with me? Like, you ain't gonna come to me complaining about some baby mother, because my ass is gonna be do whatever it takes.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like our circles have changed,
so,
but I think it's still around.
It is. It definitely is. But
well, I definitely said it's still around. I'm not trying to say
levels.
it's not, but I just don't think it is as prevalent as it was before. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, a lot of those, once you said circumstances, I guess, are different. Because like I said, back in the 80s, when I feel like this became a real thing, that was when dads were forced out of home. Dads were not supposed to be a part of that, this, that, and the other. So that's why I feel like, but I feel like now there's a lot of dads that from day one, they're going to be with their child. They don't care if they're with the wife, the girl, whatever, they know. And they're educated and they're ready. So, and that's what I'm just trying to figure out. So I do understand this.
It's deadbeat moms out here too.
But this is dad mentality. We're gonna keep it, and I do agree with you, because I did have another scenario that I was gonna throw out there, but I decided not to.
Okay.
But there's a podcaster when he threw out, he goes, if in the 80s, if it wasn't for welfare, there would have been a lot more deadbeat moms than dad. If the roles were reversed, if dads could have got the rights of getting housing, food stamps, this, that, and the other, and the moms had to be gone, there would have been a lot more deadbeat moms. And that's what he's going into, the same thing that Vance brought up earlier, which was them attacking us. That was planned and plotted.
Yeah, they break the families up.
Yeah, exactly. So that I can't forget what was the term you used for that, Vance? What is it called? I'm trying to remember.
Systematic.
Systematic, exactly. And if it was, and he said if it was reversed and the men got those rights and got those things, then there would have been a ton of deadbeat moms. You know, and that's what he was going into, that is really what happened to us. Like that was planned.
Hey, that'd have been wild though. Imagine if a nigga had, if a brother did, he'd have been like, "Come on over, baby," knocking all them, knocking everything up, drop the babies off.
Yeah, man. It always take two. Just remember, like
it do. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
fellas. You know what? I definitely think this is a conversation we can go into again on the show. We're gonna go ahead and end this conversation and get into our after conversation topics. I think we lost Daryl, but you know, he'll probably hop back in because he always like to jump in. And Rob, we're gonna have you stay for our football picks. We're not gonna consider your opinion, but I would like to hear it anyway. But we're gonna go.
Rob, who your team this year? Who you like? I know you didn't like. You done went from the Dolphins.
The Raiders. We ain't going to football yet. We ain't going to football yet. Let's do one more thing.
Okay.
Which is I sent everybody a list, and we're gonna do the worst fathers on TV in movies, and discuss and figure out who could have been the worst. So I sent y'all a list on there, and I read through some of them, and we're gonna go into, you know, all right. So everybody give an answer. But I want to read through the list of some of the hopefuls that I hope y'all don't say. And as soon as
This is an interesting little question though.
Yeah, who's the worst fathers on TV? Because I tried to do it without the list. I was just thinking about it as a topic, and I said, you know what? Let me just Google and see what pops up. Because my first answer to myself as bad fathers was Shameless. My man Frank from Shameless.
Yeah,
and he's
on the list though.
He on the list, but he's still that's my what you call it, Frank from Shameless. What's taking me? I got something else up.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Who would you pick? Who's your pick, Matty Ice?
I like the list, and there's a couple, but off the list, I'm gonna go with Game of Thrones Lannister, man.
Yep. He was the worst one of them all, bro. He by far was the worst one of them all.
Like,
bro, he was
far as his, you know what I mean, what he did to my man, damn, what's his name?
Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion. How he, like, how he did him, nigga, his daughter. He used all of his kids.
All of them.
All of
Jamie,
them.
Xerxes.
Yeah, he used all of them. He was probably...
Y'all watch Shameless? So did Frank Gallagher, and he was more realistic. Like this shit, that was based off an actual person. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
I'm with you, but
I agree, but it was just to another level. And I'm gonna say the reason probably why I went there is because I watched Shameless, but I wasn't as invested in Shameless as I was into Game of Thrones. So when I seen, I was like, yeah, I would have killed him.
All right, so nobody put Darth Vader on there?
Nah.
He wasn't a bad father.
What are you talking about? The motherfucker didn't even know. He
was deadbeat. So
he didn't even know. And then what he did, he gave him the power. Like,
and he cut the man. But then he cut the man hand off.
But the nigga tried to kill him. They out there.
Like, what you gonna do?
What he supposed to do? Let him kill him? They out there banging. They like at that point, like they having to shoot. It's okay corral at that point, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's like if I found out a nigga, your child, and then he come and he pull out a strap on me, nigga. We got to shoot it out. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, nah, but he saved him at the end though, you know. What I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah, that's why I ain't put him away. Yeah.
Nah, he seen somebody beating his son ass. He's like, hold up, nah, bro, you ain't doing that to my son.
Yeah. Darth Vader. Yeah, I ain't had a problem.
All right, so how about this? All right. So you look at the list. So y'all gonna all say Tyrion Lannister. That's what everybody's gonna say.
Yeah,
not Tyrion Lannister, but the Lannister.
Yeah,
the Lannister dad.
Tywin.
Yeah.
All right. So now I just want to reverse it real quick. On this list, if you're looking at it, who should not be on this list?
Al Bundy.
Yeah, I was about to say
Al Bundy. Dude from Blow. He's on there.
I'm saying his
dude from Blow.
He wasn't a bad father. He was trying to be there.
Homer Simpson shouldn't be on this list either.
Yeah,
agreed.
Homer Simpson, he was there for his kids. He was under the roof. He was trying to do his thing. He was just, you know what I mean? I see Homer Simpson almost the Al Bundy of the cartoon. Like Al Bundy, you know what I mean? He was there for. He was a dad. He was a real life dad. Like I don't see him doing nothing wrong. Like, to be honest,
I think Tony Soprano on here too. He on shit.
Nah, Tony ain't on here. Marty's on here from
Ozark. Michael Corleone should be on there.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I don't know why he on there.
Yeah, Corleone shouldn't be on there.
Yeah, hold on. Marty Bird is on here from Ozark, and he shouldn't be on here.
Nah, he shouldn't be on there either.
Yeah, because his wife, it all started with his wife.
I know why the Blow guy's on there though, because the guy from Blow he had gained it all back, but the bread is what took him out. Like, he made a choice between his daughter and the bread. Even though the choice was to get bread for his daughter, like to get her out Cali and do all that stuff, but he had to find another way. He had the choice, and that was the only way he knew. So he took that choice.
A lot of these other dads,
that movie has been one of the best lines in there ever in all movies. Batman said, "I went into jail with a bachelor in weed and came out with a doctorate in cocaine."
Yeah. the only other joint here that I know of that I might could go with is maybe Jack Nicholson from The Shining. Like, he was just off the chain, but they didn't really show him that much as being the father. Like,
right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of vague. At that point he was going crazy. So, but
the Marty Bird joint job blew me though, because my man was doing everything to protect his kids. Like, he got into it so they wouldn't get killed, huh?
Yeah, it happened to his wife. He looked at a video, his wife was banging his friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it all started. Yeah. I still remember the scene when he was going to confront him and that motherfucker flew out the window and hit the ground. And I was like, yo.
Yeah. But I ain't even gonna fake she was the worst. Like, she was doing shit like she was terrible. I couldn't
stand her character.
Yeah, she was fucking terrible, bro. Like, she was the reason why, like,
Yeah. So much stuff was because of her race.
Yeah, I ain't feeling her.
Anybody got somebody?
But that's why we was talking about last week when we was
of.
talking about the best TV shows. When I was like, and I had mentioned, I was like, why that's not on the list? Like that joint, like
Ozark was great. I enjoyed it.
It was cool. I ain't like the way it ended.
I watched Band of Brothers that was on the list. I told y'all I never saw it. It was top 5. I watched it. It was really good, but you know, the only thing it just became really redundant. You know what I'm saying? The same situations every time. But you know, but it was a good show. It was very action packed. It was definitely action packed. My boy just told me, and it just came on Netflix too. Was the Pacific, which is supposed to be.
Hey, I want to throw something in here. A curveball. I know Rodney probably don't even know because he probably didn't watch the show. But
I watch everything, dog.
One of the worst fathers ever was 50 Cent from Power when he shot his.
Oh yeah, hey bro,
he gunned his son down in the joke. Outside say 50, he got to be one of the worst fathers ever.
Kane.
Yeah, he was one. Yeah, that joint.
Unfortunately, I watched that shit.
Hey, you gotta throw him on the list though.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, he probably was the worst, bro. He probably like.
Nah, he wasn't beating. He wasn't beating Terry. He wasn't beating the Lannister father.
Nah, Lannister won, bro.
Yeah, but shit, he literally shot that nigga down like you big like.
Like he's like, dang. Like,
yeah. He was probably the worst father ever.
All right, fellas. So we're gonna go into our next topic, which is our NFL picks. Last week, one fluke overtime stopped us from winning.
Yep.
So you know, I was definitely upset because I was trying to, you know, I'm trying to cash. So hopefully this week we got some better picks. Now I do know that a lot of teams are playing right now. So
I mean we still could pick them up though. I wrote the odds down. I wrote the odds down this week, man. Like these games this week should be easy wins for us, dog. So
hold on. Before you go into this week, let me go ahead and recap last week, just to say where we lost. So last week we had. So I'm gonna go from the bottom. So we had the Commanders for the win, which a lot of people didn't think it was in the first quarter.
Vance,
somebody was sending text messages.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Vance
was you was a little early. You was.
Hey, no, I told you as long as I start talking trash, they gonna win the game. Y'all might want to say something to me early.
Yeah, I was like, that's how you go.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody jumped out there.
This week I might be early too.
Hey.
So then the Cowboys, we had them. They won. We had the Bills. They won.
Easy. Yeah.
And we had Kansas City. So the overtime.
Hey, but Vance, I think Vance had the Jaguars though.
I did have Jaguars. I lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I had Jaguars, and y'all had.
I think he had Denver too, didn't he? Didn't he have Denver too? You didn't have Denver on that?
Nah, I picked Washington. I picked Washington last week. Because I don't trust Russ. So
yeah, you see what happened? He collapsed every second half.
Every second half, bro.
Yeah, that second half was crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I was almost getting ready to turn that joint off.
Hey, bro, when they threw that Hail Mary, and I was like, why they ain't slap it down? Why are they tipping?
I was laughing like a bug when they threw that Hail Mary. I was like, these Negroes about to go to overtime.
Hey, Slim, I was when they ain't called that pass interference and game was over, I was like, thank you.
Yeah, it was pass interference, by the way.
Nah, it was real close. Like,
here we go.
He did. I don't think he grabbed him and turned him. He did.
He didn't. He didn't alter it.
Yeah, I don't think if he'd have grabbed him, he did touch him, but you know what I'm saying? It wasn't enough for them to call it at that last play of the game. He ain't, you know what I mean? That's why I was like, it was close. If they'd have threw the flag, you really couldn't argue, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still would have had to do another play for a 2-point, even if he.
Exactly.
So, you know, but you know, and then last was, like I said, that Seattle-Detroit game. We picked Detroit. Seattle won that in overtime, which
Detroit covered though. But They won.
We not doing coverage.
That's what I was about to say, because I was thinking that too, but Roddy doing straight money line. So that's why
Yeah, I know.
sometimes, like if we doing the underdog, you don't want to take the points. Like if they the underdog.
When you take the points, it starts getting convoluted. We got to start talking about the points every time.
Now I'm just saying, like if you
we just saying if you take an underdog on your bet, take the points.
If you already like, if you gonna say that if they the underdog, but you think they're gonna win, go ahead and take the points with it, because they may still lose, but they may still cover the point spread. Then either way, you winning. You know what I'm saying? So
but I understand that, but I don't want to have to explain that every week. I don't want to have to talk about the points up and down, what that means. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, let's just go straight wins. Yeah, trust me, I made bets with points. I'm just saying for the show right now, it's just like, let's just pick winners. That's all I want. Winners. I want winners. 5 winners.
Well, you should get winners this week, because the hardest game gonna be the hometown game. So
let's go. Oh, that's gonna be tough. Yeah.
Giants. Y'all the one that did it. Giants at San Francisco. San Francisco minus 10.5.
Man, we don't need the points. I'm going San Fran all day.
Hold on,
who y'all picking?
I'm picking San Fran.
San Fran. Hold on.
San Fran, good, bro. Miami versus Denver. Miami minus 6.5.
Who at home?
Miami is.
Oh, going Miami.
Yeah, I'm going Miami too.
All right.
This one's a tough one. The Eagles are at the Bucks. The Eagles are minus 5.5. They say they're gonna go down there and beat them.
That's gonna be a good game.
It is.
Part of me want to go Miami, mean the Bucks, but
I just think the Eagles' defense is too good, bro.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll with the Eagles on this joint, but part of me want to say the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Dang.
I say the
Rob
Eagles.
ain't give his opinion on it. Rob, have you disagreed with us, man?
He just got back.
No, I just got back.
Giants, San Fran.
Oh, San Fran.
Miami, Denver. At Miami.
That Miami Denver game might be a trap, but I'll go with Miami.
It's in Miami though. Eagles, Bucks.
Eagles got a good offensive line.
Is that
I don't trust Baker Mayfield. I'm going Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am, but I don't know something. Like if I was what's the point? If I was betting points, I might go Bucks, bro. But
it's Bucks plus 5.5.
Plus 5.5.
Oh,
a touchdown.
Oh shit.
Touchdown. So Eagles got to win by basically a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm gonna go Miami. We talking about money, so money.
Going Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles.
All right, I'm gonna do Colts Ravens next. Ravens Colts plus 8.5 is at
that's gonna be a good game.
I'm going Ravens, bro. Ravens.
I'm going Colts.
You going Colts?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Ravens, bro. I'm going Ravens, man. I like what I'm saying from that new offense. I'm liking the Ravens right now.
I'm going Colts. I got a player to play for the Colts, so I'm always root for the Colts.
You biased?
Yeah.
You talking money though?
We are. That's why Rodney gonna pick the Ravens.
100%. But this money ain't making nothing. Right now, we ain't making no money because we take a heavy favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you said I want some winners. That's what you said last week. I want winners.
I'm taking this 5. Yeah. I done took 2 hits in a row.
Hey, don't worry.
I'm taking all winners this week. I'm taking all winners this week. Let's go.
Now, Rodney, who you going? You going
what you doing? I said Ravens. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Last but not least, I want to hear it come out. I want to hear y'all say it.
Buffalo.
Washington.
I already know what you want.
Versus Buffalo. I dare y'all to pick the whole. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
That's gonna be a tough game, Slim. Josh Allen.
Where we at? Where we at? We at home?
Home. Y'all home.
I'm saying, man.
Hey, Buffalo. Hey, Washington plus 6.5.
I'm gonna let y'all pick first.
Y'all did put up 35 on Denver.
I'm gonna let y'all pick first.
Already picked, but I'm not making no money off this bet.
I already know where I'm going.
You going
5
Buffalo?
teams. I'm not making no money off it.
It ain't nobody it ain't nobody's gonna check Diggs, bro.
Yeah.
And Kendall is his man.
Man, fuck that. We going home team, nigga. Washington. On Washington.
It ain't even worth the bet. If we pick all these favorites, it's not worth the bet for me. It's $20 to win $57. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
you
all
want
we gonna win.
That's not double your money.
We're gonna win, huh?
That's not double your money.
I want more than double. Oh, I'm about to look at this.
I'm saying, so you pick at Denver. So you pick at Denver. I mean Buffalo too.
No. I'm gonna look at all these rest of these ones and see if there's something else I'm more interested in. Hold on.
I'm saying that
Tampa Bay joint against the Eagles. Nah, that don't bring that much. Yeah, it brings way more money than. All right, so let's look.
Man, tell
There are no good games. Like next week, most of the games are trash.
Yeah,
I'm saying like I'm going off the home team, but honestly, I don't know. I don't see us going 3-0 against Buffalo, but we are at home and we can win that game.
Bills Mafia.
That's a winnable game though, man.
It is. It's winnable.
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
I'm about
they
to
might travel. You see, the
do.
Commanders, Washington been deep, man. Bills might get beat
Bills
down, man. They can't come up in that
bro.
stadium faking. You seen we stomping niggas out lately, man. We stomping niggas out at the stadium right now, bro. Come in there faking. We stomping out.
All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm placing the bet as it is with the $20. We only win 50.
I mean, you at least get your money back from this week.
But then I'm gonna also place another bet with the same everything except for the Redskins to win.
Oh, you picked against your team? That's what you just said.
No, I picked the Bills. Yeah, I picked the Bills. I said the Bills to win.
So I'm saying for the show though, you picking the Washington.
You picking the Bills for the show.
I'm picking the Bills for the show.
Okay,
but I'm placing another bet with the everything else.
So I'm the only one who picked
to win too.
So I'm the only one to pick Washington for the show.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll still get your text message at halftime now.
I'm about to say.
Don't worry about.
I'm the only one.
I'm place both on that one, just to hedge my bet a little bit, because either way I'm gonna win money. Because if the Redskins win on that bet, I win $160 against the $50 that with the same bet with the Bills win. If the Bills win on a $20 bet, it's only $57. I'm gonna win off the 5-game parlay, which means nothing. So I'd rather go with the Redskins on another bet, but for the show, I'm picking the Bills. The Bills are gonna win. The Redskins on another $20 bet, where everything else is the same except for the Redskins is different, and that is $167. I win if the Redskins win, which I don't think they're gonna win.
I think Washington gonna look good. I was happy to see Chase Young back, man. I'm gonna see. Hopefully, he can have a nice game. He get back to form. He had a sack.
Well, if they're gonna beat the Bills, they need to do that every quarter, not wait till the halftime.
Yeah, they gotta come out strong. They can't come out like they did last.
They ain't got back. It's gonna be a close game, though. I don't think so. I think that joint got away from
that old line got hold up against that defensive front though for Buffalo, man.
Yeah, it was different. I'm saying they had to travel to Denver, man. They never play good at 4 o'clock. You know what I mean? They like the Redskins not a 4 o'clock. They definitely a second half team, but the Redskins never play good at 1 o'clock is their time. For whatever reason, they do not play good when they got to play outside the 1 o'clock slot.
Man, it's 1 o'clock in Denver.
Come on, but that's not the same thing as playing at 1 o'clock here.
It's 1 o'clock in Denver when they play.
That's not the same. Come on, you already. That's not the same thing. And you up in Mile High, the air different. That was
altitude.
It took a half for them to get acclimated, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a lucky no call pass to the first. You're right.
Hey, we taking that win. We taking that. You know what I mean?
I need the Cleveland Steelers game that's on right now to be over 39 points.
What? You're asking for
over 39 points.
That was always low scoring.
It's only in the first quarter. It's the first quarter, and
gonna
be
it's
10 points.
9-13, some shit. Them joints always low scoring.
I need an over. If it's an over, I'm good. Well, I'm
What's
good
the score
both ways.
right now?
First quarter just ended in 10 points. It's 7 to 3, which is 10 points.
Shit,
but in the second half is when they scored a point, man. So I'm not. you know, I'm confident if they get halftime with like 20 points or 17 points or whatever, they're gonna score another touchdown in the next half. Then I'm good. I'm winning a big pot. I got a $20 bet that's gonna pay me $646 if that happens.
Oh, this the last game you need?
Well, I got two bets because I hedged. So I got one bet where Cleveland wins, and I got another bet where the Steelers win. But it's the same bet. So right now,
that's what I mean. So either way, you're gonna win some money tonight.
Yes, but I need both of them to be over. So I got one bet, but I got the over in both of them.
The points is what matter.
Yes.
He wants the points.
Yeah, I don't care who wins. I'm gonna win money no matter who wins.
If the points
I need it to be over 40 points. Yes, exactly.
On both of them.
Exactly what I need. On the Cleveland and Pittsburgh game.
So you might lose both. Because you got this the
same.
You
need the points in order to win anything.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so it's the same.
It's
technically the same bet. Because if they don't go over,
you short.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't go over, I'm short. I'm not gonna win anything. I need them to go over. That's what I'm saying. I don't care who wins.
So where they at? They at 13 right now in the first quarter.
No, first quarter they at 10. They had 10 in the first quarter.
I thought you said
the first quarter just ended.
7-3. Okay.
So 7-3. So they had 10.
Well, we rooting for you.
Hey, you know, let's we're gonna end this. Yeah. But if Cleveland wins, then I win 646. If Pittsburgh wins, then I only win, I think, let me find it. Wait, 397.
Okay,
but it still needs to be over. We'll see. Anyway, hey, so it's another. Hey, thank you, fellas. Everybody came in. I think we already lost Rob and
he
definitely lost Daryl.
But a message in there said he had to go.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I appreciate y'all. It was a great conversation, man. Until next week, I think it's gonna be us, and then we're gonna finally get that graduation episode in. But you know, you can check us out on all platforms, Dad_mentality. Until next week, we'll see you again. Thank you. God bless and good night.
Night.